Everybody knows about the Black Panthers, and they know about Huey and Eldridge Cleveland and those guys in Oakland. The world needs to know about Bunchy Carter.
It's a whole nother conversation about who Bunchy was.
He proclaimed himself Bunchy Carter, the renegade of Slauson.
There's no really books about him. You don't see him on T-shirts.
And here he was, some so-called nigga out to Slauson.
You know, he's like the unsung true hero of Los Angeles, California, the whole community.
Bunchy went to Oakland and met up with Huey and Bobby and David Hilliard, and they met Bunchy. They said, oh man, we got to have an LA chapter.
Initially, when Bunchy started it, most of the people involved, a lot of the people involved were Slauson. Bunchy, he had personality, charisma.
And I'm glad I had the pleasure to meet the people who knew him. The man next to the man, you know what I mean?
Bunchy was, man.
They said, no question, he was the smartest one, the bravest one, the baddest one.
His mannerisms was street. But his mind had been developed. He became political. We called him the mayor of the ghetto. He had a natural ability. He was a natural leader. A lot of the members in the gangs, he was able to bring them in, re-educate them, redirect them. We would have dances every Friday night. We might fill the place up, maybe a couple of hundred people in there partying, sweating, dancing. And right in the middle of it, we'd cut the music off. Bunchy'd jump up on the table, start talking for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. He'd run down some history, some facts, and, then, people be stunned. They'd be like, wow. And then he'd throw the music on and he'd get to doing the Philly dog and the party be back on and, and then we'd come back that Monday, man, 10, 15 people lining up to join the Black Panther Party. That's the type of person he was.
He exemplified, the leadership that we all needed. He had laid it down, and that's what we've been trying to follow for the years, to set an example so we wouldn't end up like the Bloods and Crips were. And it's not no gang or criminal mentality that we were trying to exemplify. This is not for you or your set, it was for your people.
It was a huge and big and rich time in history. We weren't, as the media and history would have us believe, a gang of hoodlums. I lived there. That was my life. I wasn't just some armed guerrilla intruded in on the community. That was my home.
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I don't really know who the leaders are. They're all dead. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It's like you can't be a leader for the black community if you're alive. I mean, you probably wasn't doing your job. In '65, most of your gangs segued into a political party. Like I mentioned, the Slausons went into the Black Panther Party. But then the other gangs, they kind of identified more with a culture nationalist group called the US organization.
We have gotten our manhood back by the acts of violence. When the brother throws a brick or snipes from a building that
these guys had, different philosophies. They didn't really, get along with each other's philosophy. They didn't believe in with each other's what they were doing. Panthers are more about confrontation, confronting the man. The US organization, from my understanding, was a little more abstract about, their rage.
Well, I'm a little more aggressive. I can fight a little better. I'm a little stronger, so I'll go with Bunchy now. And the guys who couldn't fight so well, the guys who wanted to be more jazzy, they went with Karinga.
Kinds of things that Maulana Karinga was saying in that first speech I heard clicked with me in terms of black people seizing their own destiny and to express that through political power, to seize political power through organizing and a self-affirmation of who black people were. Given that both organizations were had been recruiting strongly from gang structures, you can see the beginnings of some confrontations.
Karinga and all those people, that US organization, they were armchair revolutionaries.
Armchair revolutionaries.
As far as, Bunchy and them were concerned.
Bunchy was a Slauson. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it, again, is being acted out, or was being acted out at that point through a politicized environment.
So they kind of antagonized each other a little bit. They both were trying to jockey in for position in Los Angeles at that vital time.
At what point did the US
declare Panthers, or did they ever declare Panthers as like enemies?
I don't ever remember there being that kind of formal war council where that was actually declared. As things escalated and as the body count escalated, it was clear that there was a serious competition going on. As everybody now knows, that was exacerbated by the intervention of the state, i.e. COINTELPRO.
Vice President Agnew has called the Panthers a completely irresponsible, anarchistic group of criminals.
Hoover decided that, for some reason, the Panthers were the most dangerous organization in the United States, even more dangerous than the Communist Party or the Mafia. And so he ordered them essentially destroyed.
Directives issued by FBI headquarters called for, quote, imaginative and hard-hitting counterintelligence measures aimed at crippling the Black Panther Party.
The FBI set out to neutralize the Black Panther Party any way they could. They wanted to neutralize Bunchy Carter. He used the term neutralize, but nobody ever defined the term.
Neutralizing means a lot of things, including murdering. Neutralizing our entire movement.
As one communication went to Washington said, we bring these two groups together and let nature take its course.
It became clear that what they had to do was turn another organization against us, which was the Panthers.
COINTELPRO was doing its mischief and attempting to pit the two organizations against each other. It got to points where there was clearly almost a state of war that was existing between the two organizations.
We could all feel that there was something going on that was bigger than us.
The FBI had created this tension, but you had these two groups that, when they saw each other on the street, it was just a natural confrontation. They were making all kinds of suggestions and writing letters, and they had cartoons made up showing Ron Karenga with his feet up on a desk and things like that, and marking off Bunchy Carter and John Huggins and things to do today. These were cartoons that were created by FBI agents.
We didn't really know. Nobody believed that the FBI wanted to be bothered with some little Negroes in L.A. trying to organize themselves and so on and so forth. At the same time, they were sending the same stuff to them.
Correspondence propaganda between the two, between Bunchy and Karenga, telling one that the other one was doing something that wasn't appropriate.
Bunchy Carter and John Huggins were supposed to have been killed down in the Watts area working on some kind of a drug transaction. And, it would just looked like a drug deal, not a political assassination.
The day before that meeting, Bunchy and I went to the US headquarters and met with Ron Karenga and Jomo. Jomo was in charge of their military. We had an agreement that however the students voted,
Bunchy on the left, John on the right.
if they voted for cultural nationalism, the Panthers would support that. If they voted for revolutionary nationalism, us would support that.
Bunchy realized what was going down. He jumped over row of chairs. He got shot through the chair.
Damn.
So the bullet expanded and hit his chest, expanded, and he died instantly.
January 17, 1969, Bunchy Carter was killed on the campus of UCLA. And for some reason, the US organization kind of got the blame for it. Somebody from the US would have served as the killer for that.
Right. As an instigator, or what we would call, agent provocateur.
How did that all come about? Did they say, today we're killing Bunchy at UCLA? Was it like, today is the day we're going to kill Bunchy, but it's going to be at UCLA? We didn't get him on that drug thing. Was it planned out, that structure? Or?
Well, as I understand it from the agent who was telling me about it, the operation at UCLA was all screwed up.
Incident at UCLA was manifested how, did you think?
By the FBI, but at the time, we were naive and we thought that it was just another move by the US organization.
There's a lot of what I call ghetto folk tales, Some of it's true, some of it's not. Sometimes our own personal perspective overshadows what really went on. I wanted to clear up what was really going on, you know, before my time, you know. I don't believe that Karenga was working for the FBI. He might have been manipulated by the FBI. I was comfortable in making Karenga the villain. And then I had to talk to Geronimo. He was like, nah.
For all of these years, the US organization has been getting a bum rap behind that killing. I'm sure Bunchy, above all, would be turning over in his grave if we were not to straighten this out.
Some kind of memorandum was uncovered from the FBI, which declared, though we did not pull the trigger on that day, January 1969, we did cause the unrest that preceded it.
When they killed Bunchy and John, the word came down that it was to be no retaliation, that we were not going to engage in that because that would defeat the very principles that we had started on, and that, you know, we were not going to get involved in blacks killing blacks.
And it was hard not to break his rules, you know, because they took something away, man. They just snatched apart our heart. And not to, you know, not to hit something back, not to attack back or move the deal, you know, resolve that. It is still hard today, you know, to talk about it.